Okay, so we left off with selecting the data set that was at least partially within our red box here. So I went through and I made sure to just select these data sets that did that were at least partially within my red box. As I added them to my cart, you'll then go to cart up here and you can see everything that you've added. From there, you're going to hit text. You're going to get these in a text file right up here. And then you're going to open that folder location, and then I would change the name just to make sure that we're keeping track of our files. So right there within our file. From there, we are done with USGS for the 30-meter DEM. You're going to repeat these steps for the 10-meter. The only difference is that instead of 1 arc second, you want 1/3 arc second. It has a much finer resolution, but we're having a more constrained area for where we're collecting the data. So again, it's the same steps. You just toggle a different setting. The 10-meter DEM is 1/3 arc second versus our 30-meter DEM is 1 arc second. So we're going to go up here to text. Well, I already downloaded the text file. So now we're done with USGS. And now we're going to import our stuff to the UGET application in order to get the files in a way that we want. So we're going to close or minimize this. I'm going to open up the UGET software. And from here, you're going to create a new category. If you don't create a new category, it all defaults to one of these two categories and it gets messy. We want to keep things organized. So we're going to right click, new category, 30-meter DEM Reno. Depending on the processing power of your computer, you can change the amount of active downloads. I usually go just to 5. And then we're going to hit OK. So 30-meter DEM we have selected. We're going to go up to File, Batch Downloads, Text File Import. And we're going to go to the one we just created. 30-meter new, 30-meter DEM Reno new text file. And we're going to hit OK. This is the TIFF file that we got from USGS. And we want it under our 30-meter DEM. And they're all going to be marked. And that's what we want. We want all these marked because we already cleaned up the data or selected the data that fell within our region. So there's no reason to go through and select from here. So here we're going to hit OK. And it's going to start downloading. Oh, it crashed. So I'll have to cut that out. All right, let's try this again and see if we can get it to work and not crash. I've never had that crash before. So File, Batch Downloads, Text File Import. And we're going to select the correct one. And we're going to hit forward. Sorry, I hit OK. That's what I did wrong. You're going to hit forward. and we're forwarding these to a file that we select. And in this case, it's going to be the same location that I downloaded this, the 30 meter new, but I'm going to create a subfolder. This is going to be the forward, 30 meter forward. That's where I want all of these to go. And then we're going to hit OK. And we're going to make sure this says runnable. And that's it. Other than that, we're not gonna mess with anything else. And hit OK. Now you can see it's going to download all of these files, and it shouldn't take too long. The files individually aren't super large. And if you see something like this, there may have been some error in the download, or the data itself was faulty. This one has a server response code. Not entirely sure what that means. But one missing data set out of everything that we've downloaded isn't a big deal. So there's that. We're going to go and double check our file here. Make sure that it's in the correct place. 30 meter new. And it did not create a subfile for some reason, which is fine. What I'm going to do now is create a subfile. Did I put it in the wrong one? Whatever. We're going to create a file. And these are going to be, and these are all TIFF files. Unit details. And you can see they're all TIFF, which is what we want. So 30 meter DEM TIFF. Great. So I'm going to select all these, all the TIFF files, and I'm going to bring them into this subfile here. Take a second to copy them all. And then what we're going to do after this, once we get them into this TIFF file, so I have everything now in a single subfolder, my TIFF file, which we can import into QGIS. And we'll be able to, from there, merge all of these into a single DEM, essentially. So let's get started on that. We're going to close this file out, but we got to remember that we're in 30 meter new, and that's where all my TIFF files are. We're going to open up QGIS. We're going to create a new project. Just click empty project. And here's where you need to be careful, because the default projection coordinate system for QGIS is not the one that we are trying to use. It defaults to WGS 84. That's not what we're trying to use. I mean, the UTM is correct, but it's better if we use the NAD 83 2011 / UTM zone 11. So we're going to apply that, because that's what we want to keep everything in. So now we're going to import our TIFF files. A TIFF file is a raster or an image file. I always get these mixed up, but the way it was explained to me is a vector is line data. So I think it's lines, polygons, and some other one as well, which I'll be the first to admit I am not a QGIS expert in any way, but we're primarily going to be using, at least for this project, you'll either have vector, raster, or delimited text layers. But a TIFF file is a raster. So we're going to go here. We're going to point to the TIFF files we just downloaded by hitting these three dots on the right side. And we're going to make sure we go to the right area. So digital elevation model, and we're going to select this and open. And you should be able to select all of these at the same time. It's a little process heavy, but it will do it. And we're going to hit add. And no, I don't want to, yeah. Ballpark geographic offset. That's usually what I do. I'm not sure what the top one does in terms of like all these zones, but we want everything in NAD 83 plus UTM zone 11. So you're going to select that and hit OK. And close. So this is all of the DEM data that we have. Each one is a different section, but together they create this very large grid of the general area that we want. Okay, so from here, now that we have our 30-meter DEM, we're going to go up to raster because this is a raster type file. We're going to go to miscellaneous, and we're going to go to merge. From here, you can see we have input layers and we don't have anything selected. So we're going to go over to these three dots on the right-hand side of that, and we're going to select all these layers because right now they're the only layers that we have. So select all, and we're going to run. And it's pretty computationally heavy. It takes a couple seconds, maybe up to a minute or two, depending on your computer, in order to output a single merged file. And then we'll hit close when it hits complete. One thing you could do that I should have done is you can create a group. And so that way you don't have to go through and unclick all of these. I mean, you can hide all the layers and then just do that. Either way, that's off topic. And now this is our single merged DEM, 30 meter. Beautiful. So you would do the same thing for your 10 meter. You go to Google Earth. Well, we already did that. You would upload your KML file into the USGS website. You would clear or reset your map. You'd go to 1/3 arcsecond and you'd upload your KML for the 10 meter. And then you'll go through that same process. Easy enough. Okay. So once you run that through twice, once with the 10 meter, once with the 30 meter, and you've created your merged files, you can create your terrain correction grid in Oasis Montage. So before you do that, if you see this little icon here next to right, that means this is a scratch file. As you can see, it says temporary layer only. It will delete it or clear it out if you close this. Even if you save, that file will not be saved, which is okay because we need to get this file, now the merged file, into Oasis Montage. And there is a little quirk with Oasis in that it doesn't like, or it doesn't recognize for whatever reason, a TIFF file for when you're creating the grid. So I'm going to come back with the next video and we will create our terrain grid in Oasis Montage with the 10 meter and the 30 meter DEM. But again, I need to emphasize, make sure that you have this in the correct coordinate system. So we're going to check our properties. And we're going to see our source, and look at that, it's not in the correct format. So what we're going to do to make sure this is in the format we need, we're going to do something called warp. We're going to warp the entire project into the correct coordinate system. And that is when you need to go to processing, you're going to go to toolbox, and instead of clicking through each one of these to find it, even though it's under one of the raster ones, if you type warp, reproject, we can reproject our merged setting here. So our source, 4269, you can keep that, but our target, what we want output, is the one that we're using in Oasis, NAD83, 6340. And whoops. And from there, you'll get a different output file that says merged reprojected, I believe. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. And we're going to use, I think this is input layer data. Yeah, input layer data. And we're going to run. We're going to run this and output our correct project in the correct coordinate system. Okay, close. And now this is in the correct coordinate system that we need. And this is the one we're going to save and export and then import into Oasis Montage. And that will be the next video. All right.